Hello everyone, I am really excited for today's video. Um, Today I wanted to discuss something that's a bit more taboo or embarrassing, and most people would prefer to not talk about it, but this is like my first-hand experiences with having amenorrhea, which is one of the main signs that you have proactinoma. Basically, amenorrhea is a term they use for missing and irregular periods, and there are two types of amenorrhea: primary and secondary. Primary is when you're 18 and you haven't had your first period yet, and secondary is what I had. Secondary is basically you've already started your first period and you've gotten your first period, but then all of a sudden you start skipping or you might lose your period altogether. That's what I had. And apparently that leads to certain medical conditions, like for example for primary amenorrhea you could get Turner syndrome, and for secondary amenorrhea you could get PCOS and proactinoma, which is what I had. And I was not even suspecting that the problem was in my pituitary gland all along, and I did not even know much about the pituitary before I got diagnosed. But definitely I thought that was interesting. And I've had this problem like for years, like for many years during my school and university years. And, you know, I didn't really know where I was going wrong, why I'm not getting my periods, why is it not regular, what haven't I done right? Like, it was just like a huge mystery to me. And, I didn't even know who to talk to about this. Like, I was too embarrassed to tell my mom. I wanted to go get checked at a doctor when I was in high school. Um, but, even though they're medical professionals, they feel too embarrassed to talk about periods as well. And it's not really easy to go up to a doctor and say, look, I'm not getting my periods for a few months now and I don't really know what's going on. Like, could it be a health problem? Like, it's not very easy to go to your doctor and tell them that you're not getting your menstrual cycle, so usually because periods are so taboo. But periods are very important for a woman's health, for a woman's like fertility. If you don't have periods, maybe you won't be able to get pregnant, and you know there's like other downsides to that. Maybe you won't have a sex drive, maybe you won't be attracted to anyone. Like for me, I felt I was asexual for a long time. And yeah, um and usually the kind of women that get the amenorrhea are athletes and doing sports. And I already said in my proactinoma videos that I had childhood asthma until I was like 18, 19. Like I outgrew it after that in my 20s. So that means that I wasn't the sporty type when I was growing up, and I was not allowed to do workouts nearly at all when I was in school. So my body was not trained. My body was, you know, it's easy to gain weight when you can't exercise, by the way. So that's why I was doing these crazy diets instead. And unfortunately, I did get fat shamed in secondary school. So I write mostly on diets and on, well, starving myself basically to not gain weight. And I was really terrified of becoming fat and people tell me I'm fat and shaming me all the time for it. And that would happen often because as a short person, I'm just 5'2" which means I'm 158 centimeters. As a short person, you always look a bit chubby, so it's really hard to lose weight as a short person. Like it's scientifically proven that short people have it harder. So I had it really hard with the weight, and all my life I really struggled with weight gain and body image issues. And so that's why I was doing these crazy diets, or I was starving myself. I was be skipping a meal and stuff like that. And apparently there are like three reasons you could be getting amenorrhea, and that's for example, you have you are malnourished, you are under constant stress, you are you have like hormonal imbalance. And I think I had a bit of all those things. Like definitely I had a very stressful life in my 20s because I used to live abroad. And however, this problem with my irregular period started back in high school. So that's like I was 16, 17 when that started. and I was very curious to know what the cause of it was. And my periods were super unpredictable too. Like I never knew when I was going to come, and that's why I did go to my doctor and ask like what some for their advice, and they referred me to a gynecologist. And she didn't take it seriously, but she put me on birth control temporarily to regulate my cycles, which I thought was like a temporary solution to the problem. I didn't really feel like it was a real solution. It was kind of like, just like, I've always thought there's like something deeper than this, like, what I mean? I always thought it was like a health problem, and I guessed that it was a health problem, but I only found out like years later when I was 23 that I have practinoma. And yeah, I was on birth control for maybe less than a year. I got back my period and it was regular, but after I went off the pill, my periods were skipping again. I would be skipping a couple months or stuff like that. And yeah, then I went to university abroad and I was skipping a couple months or stuff like that, and maybe more. And then all of a sudden they stopped altogether for 2 years. And that was crazy. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't go get checked for the same thing again because I thought that they'll be like, I'll just go back on the pill. It's nothing serious. Like, I didn't want to hear that over again. But eventually, once I started getting the other symptoms of practinoma, I did go get checked again. And this time it turned out I have practinoma, a benign tumor that secretes too much prolactin from my pituitary gland, which is on the base of the brain. And yeah, that was like a life-changing moment. I finally knew why I had amenorrhea, why I had this problem. So my prolactin levels were just too high, and also my TSH was too high. That's why I had amenorrhea. And yeah, because this problem always used to blow my mind. Like I was just like, why am I not getting my period? Like why am I not normal? Like why, It's weird how they think they can solve all this problem with birth control, because I think it's not really a real solution to the problem. It's more like something temporary, and it's also alarming to me that my body is not able to make periods on its own. It needs all these medications to be able to function normally. Once they put me on Cabergoline, which is my medication for practinoma, that's when I finally got back my periods when I was 24. And I was really irritated and hormonal and aggressive from these hormones and side effects of the medication, which were actually a lot worse than birth control side effects. And yeah, I got back my period, and thankfully it was shorter, predictable, and regular. It was coming every month, and I could even guess the date when it's going to come, so that made things a bit more convenient for me. However, I'm afraid that it seems like my pituitary gland is damaged, like maybe forever, and my body is not able to make periods on its own without the help of these medications. So that's like a bit depressing that I have to be on all these medications. And but yeah, also like this Cabergoline also fixes my fertility problems. Like I could have become infertile from practinoma, which means I can't get pregnant, but I think that after treatment with Cabergoline, most women can get pregnant, so it's not going to be a problem anymore. But also improved my sex drive. I always thought I was asexual before Cabergoline, but after that I had a higher libido and I was more sexual. And definitely felt more like, hypersexual and bipolar even. But otherwise it's I just find it weird that I have to be on all these medications to have a regular cycle. Like, it's a bit depressing that my pituitary gland is so damaged that it can't make periods on its own. So we haven't tried what it'll be like without the medication yet. Like after 2 years maybe I can stop Cabergoline, apparently. But last time we tried stopping Cabergoline, my prolactin levels went up again, so I assume that it's going to be pretty much the same. So yeah, I'm really scared of going off Cabergoline. By the way, ever since I got back my periods, I've not been trying to mess with nature anymore. Like I'm not trying to stop my cycles anymore. I'm just like, every month getting it, going through the pain and messiness. That's about it. And not complaining anymore. I think it when I was younger, it was like, oh, I hate periods, like I don't want to be going through this. But now that I'm older, I'm just like, it could have been cancer, so I could have been diagnosed with cancer. So I'm taking it a bit more seriously now, and um, yeah, I'm getting my period now. I got it back. Got it back years ago in 2016ish, I think, and it's been regular ever since and predictable and also shorter. So that's been pretty amazing. Right now my hormones are all balanced out and I feel better. My last hormone test showed my hormone levels are normal. So yeah, this is my story of amenorrhea. Like, definitely I would advise young women, if you have this kind of problem, like, try a few doctors if you have to, because amenorrhea could lead to different kinds of illnesses like PCOS or Turner syndrome or prolactinoma, which is what I had. And I wasn't ever expecting I was going to get diagnosed with a brain tumor, but that happened to me. I always thought that, it's not that bad, it's not that serious, it's nothing to worry about. Like, people just like are kind of like in denial that there's something wrong with them for a long time. But unfortunately, that was not the case. I am not from the privileged people who are healthy. Unfortunately, I have to worry about my health all the time. Given that I had asthma, I know that I'm not really that strong. So I always need to be careful with my health. And by the way, now that I don't have asthma anymore, like I've outgrown it out, I started going to the gym at 24 years old, and it's been amazing. I became addicted to it, but thanks to Cabergoline, I had all this energy to do workouts. Before that, I didn't have energy at all for it. So that's been great for me. It helped me lose a bit of weight and get in shape. But definitely weight gain is always something that I am struggling with as a short person. So, and as a person who also has medical conditions that cause weight gain. So it's been really hard. But otherwise, like, I think I did try changing my diet ever since I moved back home. I've been eating more healthy, and I've been doing more gym workouts, and I've been doing the best I can. But for me, weight gain is always like a huge struggle. Like, I I don't really have it figured out yet. And yeah, that's about it. I don't know why people don't ever take period problems seriously until it becomes cancers or whether, they really should take it seriously. For women, it's so important to have their cycles. Like, even if they're painful and messy, if nature has intended it to be that way. So people should not go against nature. They should just accept it that this is the way it has to be. And yeah, that's about it. Like, it's true that I could achieve a lot more stuff when I didn't have cycles, but, at the end of the day, if you could get cancer from this, like, is it even worth it? Like, think about it. So, yeah, I would like to be normal, I would like to have periods, I would like to be fertile, like, I would still like to have the option of getting pregnant. And, yeah, I'm happy with my Cabergoline treatment so far, but, that's just what I had, prolactinoma. But, there are like a bunch of other illnesses that cause amenorrhea as well. So definitely go get checked with a few doctors until they find what is the root cause of amenorrhea, because it could be something really serious. Like, by the way, even anorexic models get amenorrhea. So I don't know how I was fat as a fat person when I was younger, but I was always fat to people, and that was really heartbreaking. I know that right now I'm not really in good shape either, but I used to be thinner and people would still say I'm fat, and that's really heartbreaking because I wasn't getting periods. Like, literally anorexic women with anorexic supermodels get amenorrhea as well. Like, so that's quite crazy. But anyway, I'm not here to please people with my weight in my body. Like, if you like it, then thank you. If you don't, then fuck you. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.